and every saving, right?
Okay.
Depreciation leads to a saving because you have to pay less taxes.
Okay.
So we just have to account for that savings and taxes. That savings and taxes occur every year for the first ND years. So we calculate those savings and then we bring it back to the beginning.
So basically we're accounting for depreciation by taxing the price of the equipment over a certain amount of years. Is that
We're not taxing, we are reducing. It's a deduction, right?
Okay. Right.
The tax on the cost of the equipment you already paid. That's included in P. P already includes the taxes on the equipment,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
So year after year you are saving due to taxes because you claim it as a depreciation, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Some other question. There was somebody had a hand raised. No. All right, then we come back to you. You have your questions ready now?
No, but this is actually the thing that I was supposed to use, so I didn't really link the graph to the equation.
Okay, now you can?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Is P how much the equipment initially cost?
P is the cost of the equipment, yes. Yeah.
Initially.
Initial, yes, yeah.
What's my question? When you said there would be equipment stuff on the exam, does that mean like EAMC and MTV, like for projects? Or what do you mean by equipment stuff?
It's up to you how you solve it. You solve it by capitalized cost or equivalent annual operating cost. You could actually do that. In fact, if you think about it though, what is equivalent annual operating cost? You already know in terms of CC. What is it? Exactly. So you can really think of it like both. They're really identical. I think it's just easier to think in terms of CC, but not really. So yeah, whatever is easier for you. EAOC is equivalent, yeah, interchangeable with CC. Yeah. Now, if I tell you that I'm looking at only a limited lifespan, then everything changes. You cannot use capitalized cost anymore, right? Then you have to think about what are the different possible options, and you have to calculate basically the NPV, right? And then choose the one with the lowest NPV. The homework had too many possible choices. If I give you that type of problem in quiz, there will not be so many possible choices. Because the homework I had A, B, A, C, C. There were like 10 different choices. We didn't even compute all 10 because we knew which one is best anyway. Other questions? Let me quickly draw a cash flow diagram for a plant, and I can calculate NPV just in case that concept is also somewhat alien to you. Yes?
When you want the NPV value, do you want it at time 0 or time n?
You can say whichever way you want to say. I think time equal to 0 is more appropriate way. Yeah, but it's really fine. I don't really care actually. All right, can I erase this?
Knock the problem out. I really need to knock it out.
Okay, shh. So let's do an example where you have a plant. The initial cost is land. Let's say that you in the homework, I think in quiz 2, everything was at time 0, right? This was land, and I think there was capital cost and there was working capital. Everything was right here. Is that right? Or well, but I think let's just consider a more realistic case, which is you buy land right away, and then first year you have some capital cost. Let's just call it CC1. By the way, capital cost is same as FCIL. Okay, fixed capital investment without land. Then here you have CC2 plus working capital. Does everyone understand the meaning of working capital? So L is obvious, right? Just the cost of the land. Capitalized cost CC1 or FCIL1 is how much money you spend in year 1 on building the plant. CC2 is how much of the FCIL you spend in year 2. Okay. Now when the plant is built, if you have no money left, can you run the plant? No, because you still have to buy some supplies, you have to raw material, right? You have to still pay for utilities and things like that. So even if you're going to make tons of money in this year, if you had no money at the beginning of the year, you're not going to be able to run the plant, right? So that's what is working capital. Working capital is this amount of money that basically keeps it's very fluid money. If you keep track of your working capital, hopefully it'll be up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So working capital, usually should be at least 20 to 30% of your COMD. So and I will directly give you working capital, so you don't have to think of how much percentage. And then, of course, you're going to start making money. So let's say that this is your cash flow. And let's say depreciation is over 5 years. So let's say this is cash flow 1. Now these numbers will not change because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, 1. Because let's say depreciation is over 5 years, and let's say the CF1 is going to be revenue, right? Minus COMD, minus the taxes, which is P, revenue minus COMD, minus depreciation, right? And depreciation is going to be FCIL, which is equal to CC1 plus CC2 divided by 5 in this case. Right? Yeah. You have a question? Yeah. And then, of course, for the next 5, you do a reduced number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's exactly the same thing, except you get rid of depreciation. And then, of course, in the end, you recover land plus working capital. Okay? Is diagram clear to everybody? And the rest is really straightforward. So if you want to write NPV, let's do times 0, you get minus land, minus CC1 over 1 plus I, minus CC2 plus working capital, 1 plus I squared, plus cash flow 1. It's an annuity, so 1 plus I to power 5 minus 1 I. Now this is the only tricky part. What should be in the denominator now? Yeah? Your question? Okay. So what should be in the denominator here? Very good. 7. You can think of it 2 different ways. One is, I think it's easier to think of calculate the future value. It's always easier that way. So that is the future value, right? And the future value is at the end of the annuity, that means here. So now if you want to bring it from here to here, it's 7 years. So 1 plus I to the power 7. Right?
Isn't it 8?
Why? 5 plus 2.
5 plus 3.
Why 3?
That's a times 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody have a question? And then, of course, the next term will be CF2. 1 plus I to the power?
5.
No. You could do 5, but then you have to do another 7. No.
12.
12. And then plus the last term, which is going to be L plus WC divided by. Good, so that's NPV. And of course, DCF ROR is set equal to 0, calculate N, calculate R. Right? Very straightforward. I will not ask you payback period, so you don't have to worry about that. Yes?
When you said, that the building time was measurable, does that just mean that land CC and capital are all in
Yeah, all at times 0. Yeah.
I was just wondering how you get working capital back in the end.
Because it never really left you in some sense, right? That's really the best answer I can give you. Because it's all in circulation, right? Does that make sense? It's like you pay a little bit money, but then when somebody pays you back the money, you put that working capital back. Right? So you maintain in some sense 2 separate accounts. One for the working capital, one for the rest of the accounting. But really it's just a way of accounting for things. Right? Yeah.
So for some of the ways, if it was number not be over one side and just be like minus capital cost?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
So like if it's negative land minus capital cost.
Can you please stop talking? I can't listen to stuff people in the back if you talk. Yeah, sorry.
Where you have negative land minus capital cost over one side, if the time to build it was negligible, would that not be over one side?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So if everything goes right away, then this would be minus land, minus capital cost, minus working capital, everything right there. Okay, other questions? Yeah.
So you did a capitalized cost problem in class, but you did yearly savings instead of yearly operating costs. So how would that change the formula?
It won't make any difference at all. COMD will be replaced by yearly saving, except the net capitalized cost might then be negative.
Okay.
Which basically means that somebody's giving you money, and that's because the process is actually generating savings.
Did you mean YOC would be replaced with yearly savings, not COMD?
Yeah. Yeah, there is no COMD for that. So you have IOC, yearly operating costs. All they're basically the same thing, right?
This is for a single piece of equipment, it would just be a YOC.
Yeah. Yeah, so COMD is sort of similar, except COMD has other stuff, not just maintaining an equipment, yeah. Yeah.
Just give us FCI. How do we need to distinguish between CC1 and CC2?
No, I have to tell you. I have to be responsible. Otherwise, you say the problem cannot be solved and you get full 100%. Not going to happen. Yes.
When calculating depreciation, do we have to consider CC1 and CC2 as certain?
Right, just for simplicity, we are just saying it all at the same time. You know, you really have to be a tax attorney to really say how you can do this better than this. Because you can always make an argument CC1 should get depreciated early. But then again, you haven't really started using it. So for the purpose of this course, yes, that's what we are doing.